Drop pass behind the net. And the Sens get to center with Toure. Gibril chips and chases on his own into the right corner. Jams it around for Bourgault on the left side. Bourgault back down behind the net. Tied up back there by Zloty. Able to work it off to Daou, and his pass to the point skips over the stick there of Andonovski. And with 10 seconds now left in this short Winnipeg power play, both teams change, and Ottawa won't have to do much defensively on the PK. Pettersson races after the long shoot down. We're back to 5-on-5. Got it out there, and Boucher just had his stick foiled as he tried to one-time that pass from Pettersson. Now flipped into the Ottawa zone. Senators recover. Nice job by Toure. And Boucher able to get it loose to center ice. And now it'll skip up and into the Winnipeg bench with 2:40 to play in the frame.
Yeah, maybe the best shift of the game in the offensive zone for the Jets on that 4-on-4. But again, the Sens able to alleviate pressure, and a lot of great opportunities for the Leafs in yesterday's contest. High-quality chances on goal with Jackson Parsons needing to make some big stops. So far in this one, Vladimir Nikitin hasn't had to do necessarily too much in goal. The D doing a good job at keeping shots to the outside, keeping his line of vision fairly open and fairly clear to be able to spot pucks, and hasn't had an overly busy amount of work so far in this evening's game.
Shots are 11-8 in favor of Ottawa, as the officials didn't like the drop and are now having some words with players on the far side. Referees tonight are Amy Martin and Alex Gagne. Max Bedard and Jasmine Boutet are the lines people. As Boucher gets down into the offensive zone, puck swatted away, but tracked down by Zabeski. And a good battle for it on the near side. Zabeski dumped down by Hamilton, and puck cleared behind the net as Fryer turns the play the other way for Winnipeg. Millennius first to it though for Ottawa. Gets it for Eliasson behind the net. Steps around the Jets player that was back there too. Shovels it up ahead. Boucher between the legs to get it off to Zabeski. And then up ahead, Chason trying to work it deep. Under 2 minutes left in this opening frame.
Yeah, good work there once again from the Sens. Doesn't amount to much, but a good zone exit, turning it into the neutral zone to try and create a chance through Boucher finding Chason and trying to get into the offensive zone. But that transition through speed, something that's been on display for the Sens here in this first.
Chason able to get it back to the line, played deep again, and Blake Vanek trying to get to it down low, wasn't able to. Jets get it to the line. Toure keeps it in and took a bump from Chiprikov as he tried to dangle around him. Jets are going to come back. And a shot up high and well off the mark from Chase Yoder. And Ottawa maybe dodge a little bit of a bullet there as Winnipeg get a chance with the numbers going back the other way. Yeah,
Yoder, who had a beauty of a goal last night against Montreal right here at the Bell Center, gets a good chance up that right wing side and may have deflected off the top of the crossbar above Nikitin's shoulder, who still may have gotten a piece of it as well with his left shoulder, but nonetheless it goes out of play. And as you mentioned, Footy, the Sens dodging a little bit of a bullet with Yoder, who's got slick hands coming up that right side.
Draw to the left of Vladimir Nikitin, and won by Ottawa. Clear around by Hamara, doesn't get out, centering attempt, and getting a stick on it was Andonovski, enough to slow it down and limit the chance for Winnipeg.
Andonovski, who kept it off the goal line last night in the second period against the Leafs. Crazy sequence that almost ended up in the back of the net, but right place, right time in that instance.
Last minute of the period, centering attempt by Simmons Fisher didn't work. Jets get it to the boards near side. Hamara pitching down to try to keep it low. This one will escape and get back out to neutral ice. Flung forward again, and Ottawa will make a change with 40 seconds left in the frame. Up ahead, Jets get it to He. Bumped off it by Wallenius. And Phil Daou in to pick it up. Gets it for Simmons Fisher. Launched across. Look out. That'll end up in the Ottawa bench. And Stefan Legion just ducking out of the way of that puck.
Yeah, keep your head up down there, right? Around that danger zone. But a solid first overall so far for the Sens. Still 26 seconds left to go here. But you like what you've seen. Good on the forecheck, and much like they put up a strong first period in yesterday's contest against the Leafs, again, a strong start, a couple power play opportunities that weren't able to work, but one instance where they did generate on the man advantage and doing a good job throughout the period at generating a good transition game, something we've seen from the Sens so far.
Ottawa win the face-off and get the puck to center ice. 20 seconds left as the Jets try to turn it around. Stripped away, though, by Bourgault. Slips that through. Halliday centers it into the slot. Daou couldn't settle it down. Play still alive with 10 seconds left. Halliday again into the middle, and again Daou just can't find it. Daou fires one more as we get the siren to end the frame. And Ottawa outshoots and outscores the Winnipeg Jets. 11-8 in shots, 1-0 in the goal columns. And as Jackson said, a nice little start once again for the Senators here tonight.
Yeah, solid. You like what you've seen in all areas. Nikitin doing a good job in goal as well. Halliday, another strong play in that last instance on that last shift to set up both Daou and Bourgault. Both good chances, nothing doing though, as we see the goal once again here from Pettersson. A nice little slick play off the right side, coming up that right wing to finish it off and give the Sens a 1-0 lead through 20 minutes of play.
We'll be back in about 15 minutes or so with period number 2 as Ottawa has a 1-0 lead after.
Getting on the board, can they translate their strong forechecking game into the second frame here?
Pettersson in to take the face-off up against Danny Zhilkin. Way here in period number 2. Vladimir Nikitin still between the pipes for the Senators. I'd expect the goaltending switch to come around the 10-minute mark of the period as Ottawa get to work here, but can't get any further than center ice, and Winnipeg will just give it right back to them. Savoy curling back, plays it across to Toure, snapped up for Jorian Donovan on the left side. He'll funnel that to the net. It got through, and then Savoy tapped it back out front as Winnipeg pick it up, and Kevin He gets it across, and Elias Salamonson dumps it in.
Yeah, good shift there from Donovan as well. He mentioned earlier today that he just wants to bring his steady presence, his solid game, more of a leadership role, leading by example going into tonight's game, and doing a good job so far at being that steady presence back there on the blue line.
Sens dump it in. Dave Bell calls for a change with a minute gone in the second period, and here comes Winnipeg to center, led by Nikita Chibrikov. A lot of ice time in period at number 1. He gets stripped by Thomas Hamara, and he'll just jam it off the boards and out to center. Good read by Halliday in the neutral zone to intercept. He gets in and drops it off, and Reese takes a shot that flutters up over the net. Bourgault on the rebound behind the goal. Works it out to Andonovski at the blue line. Matt Andonovski feathers it in for Reese. Pinned up there by Fryer as the puck comes free. And almost stepping in to take that back was Hamara, but out to center it comes. Bourgault able to find it. at center ice. He came in 1-on-4, had help coming in behind him, but wasn't able to work a feed away. And now Reese trying to come up with it at center. Cloutier gets it in for the Jets. They're offside. They'll have to tag. And a little time for Stephen Halliday to work up the middle here. Halliday will end up carrying it offside. His dangle off the skate of Jacob Julian to slow things down. Yeah,
we've mentioned Halliday a couple of times in the broadcast, but another strong shift right there for him through the transition game in the offensive zone, creating chances, creating support, as you highlighted, Footy, towards Bourgault coming up that right side. Good job so far in this one for Halliday, really creating in the offensive zone, and stood out last night, or yesterday I should say, and doing a good job this evening as well at creating in the offensive zone.
Good takeaway there at center, and fired back in by Blake Vanek. And now on the end boards, Ottawa trying to go to work. Puck played back to the right point. Wallenius getting it in. Cut off by Winnipeg and worked out for Cloutier. Could chop that past Eliasson. And back in is Mason Zabeski. And Phil Daou picks it up and fires, and it's turned aside. Daou on his own rebound. Round the net he comes, gets it up to Eliasson and takes the feed back. Daou looking to shoot. Carries it to the near side circle. Dropped off. Wallenius firing, and that'll pinball around into the corner. Daou on the rebound again. Daou works it off. Back to the point again it comes. Another shot through. And once more blocker to side. The rebound fired on two. And Worthington has got that one trapped for a face-off. Much like the first period, a nice start for Ottawa offensively over the first 3 minutes of the second.
Absolutely, and a good shift right there from that line that we highlighted earlier with Zabeski, Vanek, and Daou doing a good job in the offensive zone below the goal line at creating a cycle game, and good support from the larger in frame, I should say, defensive duo of Wallenius and Eliasson. Just good work overall from both of those guys at the blue line as well, creating an offensive zone time for the Sens. And then the two youngsters of Vanek and Zabeski once again standing out so far here in this hockey game.
Sens push the puck deep off the face-off. It's going to squirt out, though. And down the right side is Wagner. He'll get by Donovan and into the net. And Nikitin there to make a stop in tight. Jets still on it. They center again, and Nikitin, big left pad save to keep it 1-0 Sens.
Yeah, great save and a good effort from the goaltender on multiple occasions. Toure caught at the offensive line a little bit, setting up that partial odd man rush going back the other way, but Nikitin there solid to make a couple of his best saves of the night.
Simmons Fisher, outlets here. Landon Hookey is in. Hookey slows himself. Tried to center and then tried to shoot. Both attempts were blocked. And then cycled back in low by Jake Chason. At the line, Toure slings it wide of the net. Antonovsky after the rebound left boards. Working against Colby Barlow. Barlow able to work that loose for Walton. And Connor Walton flings it forward, and it'll eventually be chopped in as Nikitin stops it behind his net. Antonovsky floats that out to center. Knocked back the other way. Toure intercepts. Works it up for Pettersson. Oskar gets around the defender as he chases down deep. And Winnipeg just lift this one out again. And now Antonovsky's got to hurry as Yoder finds that puck. Antonovsky heads him off to the far side boards and pins him up. Good tie-up play. And now Savoy ties up his man, and Ottawa's going to take a penalty here. Antonovsky's down on the ice as well. But it will be the Senators being penalized as looks like Carter Savoy will be the one to go off.
Yeah, not sure exactly what the infraction was. They call a holding penalty, but it seemed like a late whistle after Savoy was tangled up with one of the Jets players towards the far side in the Sens end. Ends up getting tangled up and drawing the holding penalty for the Jets, and they get a crack on the power play here, their first full power play here of the evening, and we see the replay just a little bit tied up and maybe not much there. Savoy pleading his case on the way to the box as well. Nonetheless, power play for the Jets here, a little under 5 minutes into the second.
And Winnipeg was 1 for 3 yesterday. They are 0 for 1 on their 14-second attempt where I don't even think they had the puck in those 14 seconds. Senators have a shorthanded 3-on-2 to center ice. Daou snaps it across. Bourgault couldn't handle the feed. And back the other way come the Jets. On the left side, Julian. Again, pushed off to the boards by Toure. Ottawa pushed this to the line and out. And Bourgault getting aggressive out there at center too, trying to reach for that puck and snare it back.
Yeah, good work. The penalty kill did a great job last night, 5 for 5, and doing a good job so far early here, jumping up with 3 on that rush up the ice and doing a good job at clearing that one down the ice as well. But they jump up with 3 for that odd man rush shorthanded. Key when you miss that opportunity, if you do miss that opportunity going back the other way, you got to get back, and the Sens did a good job at getting back to their positions and settling things down in the D zone as well.
Vladimir drops it back. He comes in over the line, sends it over here in the near side for Barlow. Tough pass to get that all the way across through the bodies, and that puck does deflect out. Under a minute left in the 2-minute minor to Carter Savoy for holding. With Ottawa up 1-0 here in the second period. Play broken up at the line well by Boucher. And Winnipeg will try again. Shilkin able to get it deep. Smart play by Wallenius to let that puck go by him and then lifted out and down by Eliasson.
Yeah, again, not much sustained zone time for the Jets. Good on the forecheck here as well with Zabeski going to work. Just all around great effort on the penalty killing units from the Sens.
Zabeski got in there real quick, and just a dozen seconds left on this Jets power play, and a good active stick back in his own end by Gabriel Eliasson. Sens will be able to clear this all the way down, and they'll kill that penalty off too. Reese squeezes in behind the net, gets it out front. Not able to settle it down was Halliday. Now he'll fire it over here on the right side. Drop back again and hammered wide by Hamara. Halliday lets that go behind the net. Hamara down into the corner to find it. Good cover up by Simmons Fisher back there. He's playing up front on this line. Andonovski tries to float that through in a skate. Simmons Fisher chopped it off the outside of the far post, and the Jets with the rebound will get to center. And Reggie Newman getting it deep.
Yeah, another crafty shift from Halliday, but Simmons Fisher playing forward right now, and Belzy told us, the head coach David Bell told us that he might play a little bit of forward, a little bit of defense, but defending that long frame on the forward side of things must be difficult, and he's doing what he can on the offensive side of things here tonight. Here's Fisher.
Jorian Donovan sets up a one-timer that doesn't get through to the net. Cleared out by the Jets, and then knocked back the other way by Ottawa. With Dave Bell calling for a line change, we played about 8 minutes of the second period, and Oskar Pettersson's goal back at 11:50 of the first is the only scoring on the night. Up over the middle is Hookie. Dropped it for Savoy. Worked down into the corner and then played around by Walton. That's going to find its way out of play. And we'll get a whistle here to stop things. Takes us to our first promo break of period number 2. Still 1-0 Ottawa here in Montreal. Back here in Montreal, David Foote, Jackson Starr with you as the ice crew finishes clearing up the snow. And right after we took the break there, Jackson, a little bit of extracurriculars, and it's led to some offsetting penalties here. Yeah, we've seen Jabril Toure mix it up yesterday against the Leafs, and he does so once again a little bit earlier on prior to the break, and just mixing it up a little bit with Connor Walton, who checks in tonight for the Winnipeg Jets, brother of twin Kieran Walton, as we highlighted earlier on, both of whom in the box for offsetting penalties. Still to be determined whether it's 5-on-5 or whether we will play 4-on-4, but nonetheless, Jabril Toure, that guy you want on your side, mixing it up once again, finding himself in the box for 2. And just by looking at players milling about by the benches, seems like we'll play 4-on-4 for a full 2 minutes, barring any other infractions, of course. And for Ottawa, it's Bourgault and Daou out there with Jorian Donovan and Thomas Hamara. Something else we should note, Lucas Beckman into the pipes for the Sens here as Vladimir Nikitin sits off with about half of his game played. It's Lucas Beckman who checks in for the Sens. First real Sens action for Beckman here in the tournament. 18-year-old just drafted by Ottawa this past summer in the 4th round. And we'll get some more notes on him in a moment as Jorian Donovan stuff at home. Drop it off to Donovan up high. Wheeling on the right side. Fired in front. Rebound there. Down low. He can't stuff it either. Now Donovan. Bourgault. Out. Hamara. Shot blocked. Daou. Race for the rebound, but it's found by Salamonson. And the Jets will get to center. Pass ahead. Tied up. Heading down behind the Ottawa net there was Hamara. And Chase Yoder, who's been quite active tonight for the Jets. Hamara up ahead, weaves his way in. We saw a couple of nice rushes from him last night. He'll sweep that around the net where Winnipeg cut it off and clear it back ahead. And racing down after it now is Barlow. Throws it out front, off the stick of a defender. Picked up by Andonovski, and Matt Andonovski ahead for the Sens. Runner in 2023 gets in over the line and upped it there, and it's jammed back the other way. And now the Jets have numbers with Jilkin saucing it across, and they will tuck that home. Finished off by Ben Zloty, and a tough start to the game for young Lucas Beckman, who is put right into the fire immediately.
Absolutely, on the 4-on-4, he's put right into it, and it's an unfortunate turnover at the offensive line from Andonovski, who drops it back off thinking he has support. It wasn't there, and it goes back the other way for a 2-on-1. Nice little backhand, forehand to the backhand, I should say, off the feed. Opens up Beckman's 5-hole, who can't close that off in time, and the first shot that he sees finds its way in the back of the net to tie it up 1-1. And now back once again 4-on-4 for another 37 seconds. We'll see how the Sens can respond here. A couple good opportunities earlier on in the 4-on-4 created in the offensive zone, and how will they respond with the Jets tying this one up?
Goal comes at 9:25 of the second period. First of the weekend for Zloty, who is in the second year of a 2-year AHL deal with Manitoba Moose, the Jets organization. See how the Senators respond. Donovan for Halliday on the right side. Stops and turns towards the blue line. Skates high slot. Halliday just couldn't pull the trigger. Stays with it. Creative pass to Donovan on the left wall. Jorian turning back. Now wanted to back along the line. Throws it back into the corner again. Boucher in a wrestling match down low. Jets will find it and work it ahead. Kevin He dumps it in. Halliday will be the first Senator to it. Toure got tangled up behind the play, was looking for a call that he's not going to get. Toure works it around. Hamara there, played into the middle. And Ottawa will get that all the way down on the Winnipeg net. They'll force the netminder Worthington to cover it up.
Yeah, we'll see again how the Sens can respond here, generating in the offensive zone. A good shift there from Halliday at the tail end of the 4-on-4. Someone who, again, has stood out in tonight's contest, playing a very, very solid hockey game and a solid tournament to boot as well. But again, that depth on the forward groups that the Sens do have, you look for them to come through here at this point in the game. Even if it's an exhibition game, it's those points in a game where you're facing adversity, a tough turnover leading to a goal. How can you respond? And throughout the organization, you're going to look for that grit, that intensity to be able to bounce back after a goal like that.
Eliasson throws a hit, and now we've got gloves off as Salamonson steps in. To defend his teammate Chibrikov. And Eliasson is a little bit heated that the officials got in as quick as they did.
Yeah, big body, tough to control when you're coming along the boards like that from Eliasson, and he just maybe catches that a little too late. We'll have to see the replay if they do show it with that hit for Eliasson, but immediately drops the gloves knowing there's going to be repercussions, and it's Chibrikov who's gingerly skating over. We now see the replay. Yeah, a little bit of a late hit there from Eliasson for sure. Egregious, you got to let up a little bit there, and he knows the cavalry's coming immediately after, drops the gloves right away. And he'll sit for, we'll see what the damage is. Officials still discussing, but not exactly what you want to see from Eliasson in that moment, especially when your team is facing some adversity. They tied the game up, Winnipeg. Again, we were mentioning how can you respond, how will they respond, and that's what happens in that instance for Eliasson, who finds himself in the box.
So the Winnipeg Jets have tied it up. It is 1-1 midway through the second period. We'll clear up the penalties when we return to the... See if Eliasson's done for the night or not. Swing and a miss on the one-timer from Colby Barlow, and the Sens will clear this out.
It is under 10 minutes, so it could be a 10-minute misconduct for Eliasson. He's just not in the penalty box right now, seeing that it is under 10 minutes. But we shall see as the game goes along.
Wait for the announcement. The Jets power play tries to get after it. Here's a one-timer from the right side, and Beckman makes a nice stop, just leaning to his left a little bit. Takes that right on the logo. Nice positioning for the young man who hails from this fine city and played for Baie-Comeau the last few years. Gold medal in 2020 for his goals against average under 1. He was really, really good and looking to continue that development here.
Absolutely, and needless to say, a slick set of pads right there as you look at the setup, right? The Drakkar, the Dragon type of scales, but prides himself on being one of the best goaltenders in the QMJHL and wanting to grow into that this year in Baie-Comeau. Doing a good job so far in his young career, and again, has to be a real pinch-me dream situation, dream-like situation for him, making his Sens debut here at the Bell Center.
Here's a shot, and the Jets have taken the lead. Chibrikov fired it. It might have touched the stick of Jacob Julien on the way to change direction, and it appears it has, as Winnipeg is up 2-1. They're in front for the first time tonight.
Yeah, good setup off the draw, it looked like, from Winnipeg to play it around the outside, get traffic in front. Some of the Sens have done a great job so far at this tournament, is clearing the front of the goal, but it looks like Julien just coming across, has that wide open lane towards the front of the net to get that deflection on. Nice shot looking for the tip, and it goes right by the low glove, it looked like, of Beckman to give the Jets a 2-1 lead. Again, how can the Sens respond after that? Trailing now, facing some adversity through the midway point of the second. With backs against the wall, how can you respond, even if it's an exhibition game, looking to respond as the second goes along?
Sens haven't faced a pile of adversity in their couple of games this weekend. So there's the clear up for Eliasson. 2 for boarding, 2 for unsportsmanlike, and a 10-minute misconduct. That's what led to the 2-minute power play for Winnipeg. Sens will pick it up in the offensive zone. Jamison Rees getting in. He made a brilliant move, just couldn't finish it off. So it's Yeager and Chibrikov on the assists for the Julien goal. And Stephen Halliday, getting it down to Jamison Rees on the far side. Rees works back up high, fires just wide of the net. Toure down to the rebound. He'll get shoved into the wall. Jets can't clear as it's knifed in deep again by Rees. Now lifted high, glove down. Savoy getting into the middle here and firing and just missing that far post. Jets will knock this one out to center, and Jorian Donovan back together.
Yeah, good follow-up shift there from the Sens. Getting in on the offensive zone, a couple good looks on goal as well.
Here they come again, weaving in with an opportunity. Savoy, wraparound, and he couldn't finish it. Toure tries a shot, and the defender's stick shattering there. And now Tyler Boucher is getting the business from Fryer in front of the Winnipeg net as Boucher was lurking, looking for a rebound.
Yeah, good job by Toure, though, stepping up, getting that shot off. He knows he has traffic in front, could take a deflection. It does break a Winnipeg stick on the way through, and Boucher there hounding for it, looking for an opportunity. Good little wrap try as well a little bit earlier on from Ottawa, but again, a solid follow-up shift. That's what you're hoping to see. More energy in the offensive zone, more of what they established earlier on in this hockey game to get the lead in the first period. Establish that in the offensive zone, bring those waves that you did earlier and establish that forecheck once again to create those chances, and we'll see what they can do to try and battle their way back. They are leading 18-11 in the shot totals, 18-12 now as they add 18-13 now as they add a couple on the board as I say that here at the Bell Center.
They've been just a little bit behind on the shot tonight. It's thrown us for a loop.
Yeah.
It is 18-13 as we get back underway, and 2 Winnipeg on the scoreboard. Sens are back in their own zone at the moment. Savoy, Pettersson, Boucher out there with Toure and Jorian Donovan. And these 2 guys on the back end for Ottawa here had great first pro seasons with Belleville last year. Savoy tied up after getting in. Pettersson pushes it behind the net, continues to poke it along. It's reversed the other way, near side corner by the Jets. And Zloty, who scored the first goal of the night for Winnipeg, will allow his teammates to change up ahead of him. In come Winnipeg again. Jilkin slips it low. Shoveled around by Wallenius. Again, no Eliasson for the remainder of the period, after taking 4 minutes worth of minors and a 10-minute misconduct as well. Protecting on the far side of the offensive zone. 3 in the mix. Zabeski and Vanek both down there too. Hookie was able to work it around point, and Andonovski just can't keep a handle on it. He's got to back up. Plays it across to Wallenius. Rink-wide feed for Zabeski. And the Senators ice the puck with 5.5 to go here in the second.
Yeah, good forecheck in the offensive zone again from that Vanek line, doing a good job winning a puck battle in the far side right corner of the offensive zone. Wraps it around for Andonovski, just hops over his stick, and it leads to an icing. Just those little plays that hop over your stick leading to opportune moments for the Jets like this one, an offensive zone draw. Stuff the Sens are going to want to clean up as the second period goes along.
Face off to the right of Lucas Beckman. And Landon Hookie in to take the draw, lost it to Yoder, and then a misfire by the Jets on the far side. The Senators put some pressure on them on the perimeter. Weak pass didn't get in front and was wide of the net, back in the right corner here, and Zabeski trying to find it. Lost the handle on it. And now Wallenius trying to hold it along the boards. As Ottawa wants line change in, they will. Just about everybody was right in front of the Sens bench. So they're able to hop off and on pretty easily. Up ahead to center is Engel. Gets it in behind the net of Beckman. Sens worked it around. Here's Daou out to a little sauce feed. Simmons Fisher trying to catch up with it and does. Throws it backwards, intended for Daou, and now he's in a battle with Cloutier in the right wing corner. Daou, one arm protecting. Working it back to Hamara. Swung across. Simmons Fisher tries to get around a defender and ends up slipping it around the boards instead. Daou can't find it on the far side, and Winnipeg will get it back out to center. Under 5 left here in this frame, and Jets are up 2-1.
Yeah, Simmons Fisher on that shift specifically, jumping up in the rush, even though it looks like he's playing the defensive positioning now. Something Bell mentioned this morning was that he was going to shift him forward ND, but again, active and jumping up in the play on that specific shift, maybe playing more of a hybrid position rather than just forward or defense.
Really trying to get a good look at the 23-year-old as Jorian Donovan winds his way in to the front of the net, and a good save by Worthington. The puck is still loose and cleared back out to the line. Hammered wide by Reese. Rebound gathered in by Toure. His shot hits the body of Bourgault, who controls. Xavier Bourgault turns and fires a pass across. Gets the feed back in the middle, couldn't shoot. And another opportunity from Reese that he couldn't pull the trigger on, and the disc will slide all the way back below the Ottawa goal line.
Another good shift, though, in the offensive zone there for the Sens. Creating a great opportunity was Donovan crashing that lane up the right side to create that chance. A good couple follow-up looks as well, but nothing doing here as we approach.
Halliday, and then tried to grab it away from the Jets defender, and Winnipeg able again to get it out. Reese all the way up ahead. Here's a little bit of space and a chance on a backhand, but just wide of the net for Bourgault. Trying to get it back out front again, did Bourgault, and it will slide out to the top of the crease, and Worthington will cover it up.
Yeah, good shift once again. Transition offense once again created there for the Sens with Bourgault in on a partial break, creating a good opportunity. Reese trying to generate on the follow-up attempt as well. Nothing doing, though, as they'll clear away. But Bourgault, a guy who played a very solid game yesterday, again, active here so far tonight, hasn't been able to find the score sheet, but doing a good job so far in this hockey game.
2:41 left in the second period as we get the ice crew out again. And the Senators trailing the Jets 2-1. We're back to Montreal in the 2025 Prospect Showdown in just a moment. Pretty difficult to play against tonight, and see if they can find a way to crack the armor again of 20-year-old Alex Worthington in the Jets' goal. Simmons Fisher off the pass from Hamara, played it low, dropped there by Savoy, but picked off and carried ahead by Jilkin. Little give and go try, and then shoveled across by Jilkin. Nobody there to put it goal bound. Couple Senators colliding with each other deep in their own end as the play comes the other way. Pettersson on the left side, look to be hooked up. Play continues as Winnipeg take it back and break it out. At center is Colby Barlow, working it into the right wing corner. Simmons Fisher takes a bump from a couple of Jets, but was able to move the puck the other way. Good play by Hamara to drop it in. Boucher sending it backdoor, and they can't finish. Another good chance for the Sens, and will force the Jets into an icing call here with just under 2 minutes left in the period. And boy, Boucher coming pretty close to finding a teammate open on the near side.
Yeah, good chance right there. Again, good plays from the Sens in the offensive zone to create through the transition game, and it's Boucher who has his head up in the offensive zone, creating a good chance on goal. Again, good opportunities as this period's gone along for the Sens, that being one of them. And Simmons Fisher on the ice right there, his name around everything so far here tonight as well.
With Zabeski and Hookie, and Wallenius and Andonovski at the line. Good keep in by Wallenius. Bounces off a Jets player. Feeds it down low to the goal line. Tight angle shot. Stopped. A scramble in front. And Winnipeg clear it around, but Wallenius keeps it in again. For Chason, one-timer just wide. Rebound, grabbed by Hookie. Penalty coming up here to the Jets as Beckman heads to the bench. Chason, Hookie, back to Jake Chason on the far side. Works it off for Wallenius. Up high at the line. Played across again. Chason, right side. His feet is off a stick. And we'll get the whistle to stop the play, so the Sens will get a late second period power play here and a chance to tie things up.
Yeah, we'll see if they bring up the penalty, but it all comes off of a great play off the faceoff you highlighted by Wallenius, making a nice move with the offensive line to keep it in and generate a chance. As we see the replay right here on the board, comes back up to the line, and yeah, just a cross check on Zabeski right alone in the front of the goal, completely away from the play. Good job on the replay team getting a view of that, I should say, and good opportunity now for the Sens on the power play. They had a shortened one in the first period, but did have a good chance for a full 2 minutes earlier on in the contest, and were able to generate chances. We'll see what they can do here.
Sens power play unit is Donovan, Boucher, Halliday, Reese, and Oskar Pettersson, the Ottawa goal scorer tonight. Here he is. Slides that off for Donovan. Dishes it left for Reese. Got it into the middle. And Pettersson has to try to force it back around. Jets will whip it around the boards. Halliday on the keep. Stephen Halliday coasting to the hash marks far side. Back up top to Donovan. Halliday again. Pettersson wants it at the top of the right circle. He'll have to work back out to the perimeter, and a little miscommunication sees the Senators tagging up again. Donovan Loads it up. Outlets left for Halliday. Carried up over the line. Stephen Halliday into the left circle. And around back of the net. Flings that one out. Centering attempt off a skate. Back to the line. Kept in by the Sens. Halliday again right side. To the circle. Curls back there. Feeds it up for Jorian Donovan. Donovan shoots and scores! A seeing eye wrist shot from Jorian Donovan on the power play. Ties the game at 2 with just 6 seconds left in the period.
Good crafty play by that unit on the outside, on the perimeter, creating chances, I should say. Boucher doing a good job on the half wall, one-touch pass towards Halliday, but it's set up well, and Donovan, who's done a good job tonight at walking that line, just walks in, reads that there's traffic, a great screen right in front of the goal as well. On the way through, it was Reese, it looks like, who was once again, exactly, much like last night on the Boucher goal, Reese, with his eyes pinned in front of the goaltender, taking that vision away, and it's Donovan who checks back into the lineup tonight, finding the back of the goal with 6 seconds left. A big goal late here in the second period to tie it up for the Sens.
Jorian Donovan scored 3 times in his rookie AHL season for Belleville last year in 64 games, and he's got a big goal for the Sens here at the showdown. Another backhander on net. Zabeski got a chance right at the buzzer, but it was kicked away. And after 40 minutes, we are all tied up, but hang on. Hookie and Reggie Newman are tangling a little bit. Now Zabeski and Owen Martin as well. And there's 3 or 4 pairings of players that are having pretty heavy discussions. And this officiating team will have to stay sharp as both teams make their way across the ice to their respective tunnels.
Yeah, hey, 2-2 tie game in the final period, entering the third period of a championship game, so to speak, here in the showdown, and we'll see if tensions will flare and the intensity level that both these teams bring going into the third period.
So, Pettersson in the first for Ottawa, Zloty and Julian for Winnipeg in the second, and then at the buzzer just about, Jorian Donovan ties it up at 2. Shots favoring the Sens, 21. The Ottawa Senators prospects have 20 minutes left to make an impression here at the 2025 Prospect Showdown in Montreal. They get set to begin the third period, tied at 2 with the Winnipeg Jets. Oskar Pettersson and Jorian Donovan doing the scoring for the Senators, and a couple of guys who have had really nice, Dono didn't play yesterday, but still collectively nice weekends from them, and a whole pile of these prospects. Jackson really looking up, I think, in terms of the future of the Senators organization.
Absolutely. We've seen a number, and coming in, there were a few keys, right? A healthy Tyler Boucher, what can he do? Gets a goal last night and has looked effective in both games. Donovan being one. Yakimchuk, of course, with the performance that he put on yesterday afternoon, I should say, with the 2 goals. Halliday's been great. Bourgault's been great. We've seen Dao at times as well. A lot of different guys making strong impressions here over the weekend in Montreal, and you got one more period, as you highlighted, Footy, to make that strong impression. Who can be a game breaker in a tight game here as we enter the third period?
And Ottawa will start again with the trio of Oskar Pettersson, flanked by Carter Savoy and Tyler Boucher, Jabril Toure, and the game-tying goal scorer, Jorian Donovan, on the back end as we're back underway here in the third. David Foote and Jackson Starr here. Thanks for tuning in on this Sunday evening, and basically the eve of training camp, with camps opening in the middle of this coming week. Here's Kevin He for Winnipeg. Fired that ahead, was looking for a streaking Zhilkin, pass just out of his reach, and in behind the net, Ottawa able to work it around to the near boards. Boucher sweeps it to open space. And the Jets will take it behind their net and try to break out from there via Elias Salamonson. He had a little bit of fisticuffs with his countryman from the Senators, Gabriel Eliasson, who will serve the remainder of his 10-minute misconduct here at the start of this period and then be back. Shot from the near side from Chibrikov, easily handled by Lucas Beckman, who has settled in after allowing a goal not long after coming into the game in the second period.
Absolutely, only 5 shots in that second for the Jets. They find the back of the net twice, but nice steady save there from Beckman, getting the touches that he needs early on in this third period, and we'll see if he can settle into the rest of the third. Also looking for the Sens to, again, do what they've done well defensively this tournament, which is clear the front of the net, allow Beckman a clear vision to see the puck, give him every opportunity he can to make those stops.
Jets get a quick shot off the draw. Beckman covers that up, and again a little bit more conversation between this time Thomas Hamara and Reggie Newman. But once again, not much doing from those discussions, and get a nice look again at young Lucas Beckman, just 18 years old, and again for a kid from Montreal, this must be quite the experience for him. Spend a couple days practicing and playing in the Bell Center. Braden Simmons-Fisher came over the Winnipeg line, tried to feed the puck off, and Sens lose the handle. This is chopped forward, and Edison Engel racing after it, but Simmons-Fisher gets there first. Played it across in the smooth skating. Thomas Hamara in, drops it for Xavier Bourgault. Played back behind the net. Hamara tried to return it to Bourgault out front, and the Jets will find it. And Chibrikov handing it off. Takes the feedback and sauces one up. Pulled away by Wallenius. Eric Wallenius tried to push that down the left side, got caught in the feet of the linesman. But Ottawa back on it. Centering attempt off a skate didn't work. Clearing effort. Got up ahead, and spinning that out was Barlow. Couldn't keep possession for the Jets, and here come the Sens again. Zabeski left circle looking for help, and has a bit of trouble with it there in that left circle as Winnipeg clear it out.
Yeah, good shift once again there a little bit from Vanek and Zabeski. The two youngsters haven't been able to get on the board yet so far in this tournament, but again, doing a good job at generating a forecheck. Hard on the puck in the offensive zone, creating chances and creating rush chances as well. Doing a good job so far in the tournament in this contest.
Here's Jabril Toure going coast to coast and just lifting one over the net. Vanek was after the rebound, knocked away from him. Toure picks it up and snaps it back around the net. Jorian Donovan hustles in, left it on the half wall, and then finds it again in the corner. Able to work that out as Vanek was tied up. Here's Donovan again. Good feed to Toure. Hard pass into the middle. Just missed Daou. On the far side in the corner, Zabeski spinning away and gets it to Donovan at the point, fired on again and just wide of the goal. Vanek was tied up heading in behind the net. I think that puck settled on the mesh, and that's what leads to that whistle 3 minutes into the third.
Good look once again, though, from that line. Vanek all around at the front of the net again. A guy who's prided himself on being that power forward, coming out of high school and out of the ECHL last year a little bit, but doing a good job at generating chances in the offensive zone, creating some traffic and havoc, trying to win a puck battle there that gets stuck on the net, as you mentioned, Footy, but overall doing a good job despite being one of the youngest players on the ice and in this tournament for the Sens.
53 points in 29 games with Stillwater High School last season. And then 5 points in 9 games with the Chicago Steel of the USHL. And those are some pretty good numbers in what is a really good high school program out there in Minnesota. So 4 minutes gone, or just about that here in the third. Nice back check and interception by Jamison Reese, who turns the play up ice. Reese is in, and just offside are the Senators as they come over the Winnipeg line.
Yeah, Jake Chason just ahead of the play right there, but a nice dangle from Reese. And we've mentioned his name a lot, maybe haven't highlighted him, but Reese, what a tournament he's had. Very, very effective. We mentioned those screens on the goal last night for the Boucher goal, but also the goal tonight to tie the game up late, screening in front of the net, just doing the little things right so far in this tournament, Jamison Reese. A very effective piece for the Sens here in this tournament over the weekend.
Well, it's such an interesting story, really, because Reese got kind of caught up in one of the semi-regular affiliation shuffles in the American Hockey League, where he was playing in Springfield but not as property of St. Louis. Therefore, wasn't getting a pile of playing time. He went Charlotte to Springfield, then to Belleville, finally settled and finished the season, and then had all year in Belleville last year to kind of settle himself. Now we're starting to see him get up to that skill, that level that you kind of expect from him. A second-round pick to the Hurricanes in 2019. On an AHL deal this year, though, and again trying to turn that into an NHL contract potentially. Sens able to dump it in. Worthington, who's played the whole game for the Jets, clears it around. Winnipeg get it out to center. Simmons Fisher clogs it up, and Zabeski tries to get it back deep but can't keep it. This puck will be slammed off the boards, and a pretty easy icing call here going against the Jets.
Yeah, you mentioned Jamieson Rees. Just finding that consistency this year, that'll be key. And for so many of these Sens players who have maybe bounced around last year from Orlando in the ECHL back up to Belleville, finding maybe some more consistency this year will be a key for success down in the AHL and for the B-Sens. Overall, they've got the pieces. They've shown it in this tournament that they have the pieces to be able to have success this year consistently. Can they get off to a strong start on the year down in Belleville and have some sustained success with the consistent playing time that they could potentially get if health also plays a factor for the B-Sens?
Here's Boucher. He's trying to speed around the net. Savoy was knocked down in front, but play continues. Pettersson battling on the wall. Savoy's in there too. Boucher waiting for a puck to perhaps come out to him. And Wallenius waiting up high slot area with Andonovski. Puck played to the line. Andonovski keeps it. Sends it toward the net, but it hits a body and careens away. In behind the goal, Jets will sweep this around the boards. Tapped out by Chibrikov. And Andonovski is just going to stay a step ahead of Fabian Wagner. And it's another icing call against the Jets.
Yeah, a couple of Jets sneaking onto the bench there. They'll try to get them back on the ice and get the right lineup out there that was on the ice when the icing was sent down. Good shift once again, though, for the Sens. Boucher around it on the forecheck, generating chances, and now a little bit of a line mismatch here with Halliday stepping in with Rees as well. So top line out there for the Sens, try and generate something here and capitalize on the icing.
And Sens fan on the big board here in Montreal, and there have been a few of them in the building. Had a couple of hearty Go Sens Go chants yesterday afternoon against Toronto. Good effort to push that puck out by Halliday. Toure fires, turned aside by Worthington. And the rebound knocked behind the net by Bourgault. Halliday gets it to the point. Donovan plays it across. Toure shoots, and it's tipped by Bourgault again and kicked away by Worthington. Bourgault shovels it across. Halliday fired it off the crossbar, and Toure keeps it in. Leads it half wall for Bourgault. Spins off a check, creates some space, dishes it off. Halliday holding and firing. Another kick save again. And a loose puck back toward the line once more. Kept in by Toure. Bourgault zips that out for Donovan. And then gets out to back up his defenseman. Bourgault knocked to his knees, back to his feet. Toure with a shot off the pass from Bourgault, and that just missed the net. Donovan to Toure again. Here's Bourgault, and his stick shatters in half as he tries to shoot that puck, and the Jets will finally be able to get their line change in.
Yeah, a couple tired bodies out there for the Jets, but the Sens doing a great job zipping it around, winning second pucks as well off of good opportunities on goal, able to get back onto it and generate that zone time to create those chances, and Halliday ringing one off the bar again would have been a good cap on the tournament that he's had if he was able to pot that one, but just a little bit too high off the bar.
Couple of points yesterday and another assist here today for Stephen Halliday. Simmons Fisher finds it at center ice. Shovels a backhand in deep. Winnipeg back after it first. Zabeski gets in there and dumps his man behind the net. And that allows Daou to get it. Played it across. Vanek couldn't reach it. And again, the Jets get it out to center ice, right from the logo. Fired back in by Simmons Fisher. Kevin He for the Jets, pushed off it easily by Zabeski. And Daou was able to find it. He's clearing attempt, hits Daou, stays in the zone. And then Vanek gets spun around trying to find it high in the zone, and out it comes.
Again, a little bit of a choppy play at the blue line there for the Sens in the offensive zone, but gotta like the effort of Zabeski once again, laying the body on the line, winning a puck back to try and create something. It doesn't amount to much on that specific play, but that work ethic on full display right there for Zabeski.
Jake Chason looking for some room. Sent it backwards, gets it back again, slips it through for Hookie, who was in with a chance and missed the net. Had support coming down the left side, did Landon Hookie, who gets in again, gives it to Reese. Reese drags it in front and drives the goal! And there's some arms up, but also the arms of the official are up in the air, waving no goal as Sens player went crashing into Worthington in the Winnipeg crease.
Yeah, Reese took a tumble, it looked like, on the way through. Maybe a little bit tripped up on the way, and Worthington, his health being the primary concern right now, seems to be fine as he gets back up and collecting himself in the unpegged goal. We see the play right now as Reese just crashing the net. Yeah, bodied right off towards the front, right into Worthington. And really nothing that Reese could have done in that situation, just bodied his way right through to the goaltender, trying to drive the net, maybe even trying to avoid it, get out of the way, but he's bodied right in by Zilikin, who's coming back on that play. As they replace the pegs, looks like Worthington is thankfully okay.
Well, both teams headed to their respective benches and thought the ice crew might come out, but not the case. There's still a half a shattered stick on the ice, and I think now the linesman's picked it up and noticed that that was there. Played about 7 minutes of this third period. Sends out shooting the Jets 26-15. If you're just tuning in, Ottawa goals by Pettersson and Donovan. Jets goals by Zloty and Julian. Reese leaning in to take this face-off against Danny Zilkin. And he's able to win it and get it back to the line. A shot just narrowly misses the net. Out to center it comes again. Andonovski works it forward. It's tipped in by Reese. Worthington out to play it. Chason trying to put pressure on, but he's headed off. Now Jake Chason working hard in the corner. Puck comes to Landon Hookie for the Sens. Back to Chason, right side corner. Handed off to Reese, trying to walk off the wall. He took a bump by Zilkin and lost the puck, and the Jets just flip it out to safety.
Yeah, Reese getting a little crafty here. A couple moves in the past couple of shifts that he's had where he's showed his hands on display and his skill. Why not at this point in the game, right? Show what you can do and try to maybe put an exclamation point on the night for him and for his team.
Yeah, we talked yesterday morning about building confidence, and Jameson Reese certainly has done that throughout the course of the weekend. Pettersson chasing down that loose puck. Strong on the body to try to keep Connor Walton off it. Walton ends up putting him to the ice. And now Pettersson back into the fray in the far side corner. It's knocked behind the net by Winnipeg. First pass was intended for Wagner, but it missed. And Jorian Donovan now back in his own zone. Able to get it off the far boards and out to center, but that's it. Played in deep again by Wagner for Winnipeg. Donovan absorbs a hit down low, pushes it out for Pettersson on the near side. Tapped to Toure, and then Pettersson again. Now up ahead for Boucher to get in. And he'll lose out on it to Reese Hamilton just inside the Winnipeg line. Hamilton pushing it back deep the other way. Donovan scoots in behind his net, gets a little help on a bit of a pick from Boucher. Now it's flung ahead for Halliday. Tries to backhand it on, couldn't get the shot off. Chibrikov hounded by Toure into the far corner. And Winnipeg have to go behind their net to try to get some time to start a breakout. Puck finds its way to Yoder. He'll flick that into the left Belleville corner. Simmons Fisher guides it behind the net. Kept going by Toure. And now Reese is away on the left side. Jameson Reese with Bourgault behind him. Drops it off. Bourgault tries to get it across to Halliday and did. Halliday makes a move on the right side. Coasts up high. Continues to hold. Drops it off for Bourgault, high slot. Dish to Simmons Fisher. Right circle thrown in front. And they'll try to jam away at it, but Worthington will find it. And will cover it up with a handful of Senators standing basically right on top of them.
Yeah, good work there by this line once again. Reese creating good transition play into the offensive zone. Good setup as well with Simmons Fisher finding it, jumping up from the blue line to get that shot off. good opportunity there for the top line of the Sens.
Still 2-2, 10:20 left to go in this third period here in Montreal. We're back to the Prospect Showdown in just a moment. To go, third period, final game of the 2025 Prospect Showdown here in Montreal. And again, if you missed it earlier, the host team finished 0-2 this weekend, losing to the Jets in the final seconds last night and then to Toronto this afternoon. Maple Leafs losing 4-3 to the Senators last night and obviously beating the Habs today. So again, whoever wins this game will technically be the winner of this two-game showdown here in Montreal. It's been a fun weekend to say the least. And lots of really good development and some fantastic showings from the Sens prospects here.
And again, we spoke about it on the broadcast yesterday, but just the experience of playing in this building and playing in an NHL arena for most of these guys who haven't yet, that does wonders.
Halliday driving the net after a nifty move and couldn't finish it off. Boy, Stephen Halliday puts the hands on display.
Now we talk about encapsulating the weekend. We've mentioned him multiple times on the broadcast here tonight, Stephen Halliday, putting the moves on their footy to do a great job at getting towards the front of the net, creating a chance, and much like Reese did a little bit earlier, getting crafty, showing what he can do at big points in contests and in games, and a good chance right there for Halliday to drive the net and get a chance on goal.
There is Stephen Halliday, 23-year-old. Former Ohio State Buckeye, has played 81 games in his AHL career, 71 of those last year. He led the Belleville Sens in scoring with 19 goals and 32 assists in his first full professional season. And he is certainly on the radar to receive a potential call-up to Ottawa this year. Jets get it out to center. Puck went off the heel of Kevin He, who then bumps in to Wallenius, and Eliasson is out of the box from his long misconduct, and back out there for the Senators eventually. At least he will be. Winnipeg take their time from behind the net. Clock rolling at 9 minutes, 10 seconds left. Fed up for Zhilkin. He'll cut through the middle, got by Daou and in deep. And Wallenius able to slide that around to the far side. Zabeski ties up his man. And then Daou able to pick that puck up. Works up ice and into the offensive zone, but the puck will skip into the Jets bench, and that will stop the play.
Yeah, an interesting note that David Bell said earlier today was that he wanted to get his guys into a morning skate just to feel what it was like to get a game day ritual. And now, at these points in the game, coming up after the break with 8:50 left, those are the moments where if you are able to work your way into a full game day type of ritual, what are you going to bring with 8:50 left in the third period?
Pettersson and Donovan for Ottawa. Zloty and Julian for Winnipeg. We're all square in the third here in Montreal. 8:50 to go in this third period. The kids are all right for the Senators. 2-2, they're tied up with the Winnipeg Jets, trying to be the team with the best record at this 2025 Prospect Showdown. Big thank you to the folks with the Habs and the Laval Rocket. Have seen a lot of their staff around putting this event on this weekend. It's no small undertaking, to say the least, and they've done a really, really good job here, raising $600,000 this weekend for charities here in Montreal as well. So it's been a fantastic couple of days.
It's been fantastic. The crowds have been absolutely fantastic as well for all four games, and just a really good event put on by the Canadians, and we'll see what it brings maybe in the future as well with some of these teams in the eastern region of Canada.
And with obviously no ill intent towards our friends in Buffalo, people have really enjoyed being here this weekend. So, yeah, we'll see what happens from here.
Absolutely. A very enjoyable weekend on more fronts than just the hockey as well. Good camaraderie between the Ottawa Senators and the Belleville Senators, and crafting a little bit more of that relationship as well. Doing a great job overall together here as an organization.
Here's Zabeski down into the left corner. It's all about development right through the Sens organization. And Ottawa trying to come up with it in behind the Winnipeg net. And they will at the side of the goal. Zabeski can't stuff that by Worthington. Daou Gets a backhander over to Toure. He shoots through the crowd and just missed. And that puck will catch the corner and slide all the way out.
Another good look, though, for Zabeski. He's playing that hard-working style, grind game that he goes towards the net and generates a chance. Good opportunity there for him and for the Sens overall, with Toure putting it through as well. Good looks as this period's gone along. They've controlled much more of the play than the Jets have. A large majority has been in the offensive zone for the Sens, and looking to once again put it off and finish off this third period strong in the offensive zone.
Extended shot of Gabriel Eliasson up on the big board because he's back in the game. Ottawa out shooting Winnipeg 32-15 according to the score clock. That's assuming it's up to date because it hasn't been at some times tonight. Either way, strong performance for Ottawa. Simmons-Fisher's shot deflects into the net, and Yoder lost his twig and had to go to the bench for a new one. Eliasson feeds it left. Reese squeezes by a check at center ice. Able to force it in deep. Hookie on the forecheck for Ottawa. Chiasson and Reese waiting for it to come free. Hookie takes a shove. Puck does come loose, and then it's lifted out by Cloutier for the Jets. Chased down again by Eliasson, back in his own end. Leaves it deep. Played forward, and a one-timer off that clearing attempt is right at Beckman, and he will hold on. And right out of the box, Eliasson is mixing it up again, and he may have just been penalized. Somebody has been for sure. I can see the referee pointing at people. And as that's going on, Jamison Reese is getting ragdolled a bit. So we'll see what comes out of this.
Yeah, third period of this game, right? Stirring the pot a little bit. We saw it yesterday against Toronto, and Eliasson fresh out of the box. He's got red in the vision and blood on his mind a little bit. He's going out there and taking it to a couple of guys, approaching the goal,
and he is back in the penalty box, but we'll see if anybody is going on the other side as well. Both teams 1 for 3 on their respective man advantages tonight, and it appears it appears that it will be another power play for the Jets, but there's just a lot of pointing going on from Senators and officials, etc. And still, as of right now, Eliasson is the only one in the box.
Yeah, we see the replay here. Eliasson immediately going towards the goal and taking his man. He gets called for a little bit of a rough against Yoder, but
little bit is probably the key there. He just wrapped the guy up, and Alex Gagne was waiting there to point at him and send him off.
Yeah, not much doing there, but still, nonetheless, he goes to the box, and faceoff will come outside as maybe the equalizer to all of that. Faceoff not in the offensive zone for the Jets, so we'll see what comes of this. But needless to say, a massive kill at this point in the game for the Sens, who find themselves down a man with 7:05 to go here in the third.
Winnipeg lines up with 4 up front, and Chibrikov hanging out all alone on the near boards, but Ottawa will get that down ice. Pettersson, Boucher, Donovan, and Andonovski out to try to kill this off as the Jets come through the middle. Bouncing puck knocked away. Good poke check by Andonovski, and he's able to get it cleared.
Yeah, one of the best plays he's made all game. Andonovski, great job getting his stick tied up on a Jet player in the high slot area, I should say. Great job to tie that up despite being a little bit above his position. Makes that play and does a good job.
Here comes Boucher. He's 1-on-3 at center. Smart play to just slide that deep, and fresh penalty killers over the boards for Dave Bell and the Senators. Just about half of the power play has elapsed. Broken up by Bourgault at the Ottawa blue line, and the puck just gets a little too far ahead of him. Misplayed by Worthington, and Ottawa get a shot, but doesn't end up hitting the net.
Good job by Bourgault, though. Firm and steady at the defensive line to pick that pass off and negate the zone entry for the Jets. Turns it back the other way, just pushes it a little bit too far out of his zone reach to get that shot off. But nonetheless, good effort defensively by Bourgault on the penalty kill once again.
Nice play at center by Zabeski, but in comes Jilkin anyway, though Winnipeg offside as Danny Jilkin steps over the line. 5:49 left in this tie game, and 44 seconds left in the minor penalty to Gabriel Eliasson.
Yeah, good first minute and a bit of this power play, or this penalty kill, I should say, for the Sens, doing a good job meeting the play at the defensive line. A good example of that on the Bourgault chance just a few seconds ago, but again, drawing that offside, it was Yoder, it looked like, who jumped the play a little bit on this near side. Good work overall, though, by the Sens penalty killers.
And more nice work as they win the draw and get it 200 feet from their own net. And a quarter of the power play remains as Winnipeg start out from deep in their own zone. Shilkin has to turn back with Zabeski in front of him. And now he comes up over the red line. Hands it off to Yoder on the left, returned, and then found behind the Ottawa net and fired towards the benches. Snared out of the air by Dominic DiVincentis, the backup goalie for the Jets.
Yeah, he made 38 saves last night against Montreal and adds one more to his repertoire here at the tournament, right? Prime position down there at the normally Montreal Canadiens bench for the goaltender to sit. And funnily enough, at the Bell Center here in Montreal, the backup goaltender for the away team has to sit on the near side where the opposing team comes on the ice. So Nikitin down there all alone in the corner, no space as you get a good look at the Sens bench, no space on the bench for the backup goaltender for the Sens here tonight.
Yeah, the home bench here in Montreal, and ditto for their AHL affiliate in Laval. It's spacious, to say the least. Here's a cross-rink feed. Settled down by Nikita Chibrikov, 22-year-old from Moscow. Worked it back to the point. Hamilton on the left, shoots. Beckman, 2 saves, 3 saves from Lucas Beckman. And the third one was a beauty with the glove to keep the game tied.
Yeah, scramble play there, but what a save from Lucas Beckman. Staying square, staying solid on the puck, not losing it at any point, and then just sprawling across to his left to make a fantastic save. We see it's worked around towards this near side. Shot goes towards the goal. Good deflection on the way through. Again, steady and firm was Beckman, never losing sight of that puck at any point, and does a great job at reading it, staying with it, and making a nice desperation save to keep the score deadlocked at 2.
Senators are almost 20 shots ahead of the Winnipeg Jets, but we're tied at 2 with 5 minutes left in this one in Montreal. Big face-off coming up to the left of Lucas Beckman, who just made a trio of fantastic stops on the doorstep to keep this game tied at 2. And just 4:59 on the clock. And they've added 4 more shots to the Winnipeg side of the scoreboard at the break. Lots of discussion right now around the building about the OT format. Nobody seems to know. As another shot comes in on Beckman and he makes the save. It seems like it'll be the usual 5-minute 3-on-3 and then a shootout if that solves nothing. So we'll wait 4 minutes and 56 seconds, see what happens, and we'll all be surprised by whatever they decide down there on the ice.
Absolutely. They couldn't get the litmus test in last night with the Jets and Habs, right? But
yeah,
we'll see what comes of it with the winning goal in that game coming in with 25 seconds left. But we'll see what comes of it here tonight.
Sens hoping they don't need overtime as they get it into the offensive zone. Halliday catching up with it left corner. Bothered into the corner by Owen Martin. And Reese was able to find it. Kind of lost it in his skates there a bit, and out to center ice come the Jets. Puck bounces into the Belleville, or it was bound to happen once this weekend, into the Ottawa zone. And now turning his way up ice is Xavier Bourgault. Nice little chip play up the wall to Reese. Can't keep it. Does get it back and force it into enemy territory, and everybody changing here for both teams late in this third period. Jilkin ahead to center. He's had an excellent weekend, and he will tumble to the ice as soon as he feels a stick on his lower leg. And the Senators will have to kill off another power play with 4 minutes left in regulation time.
Yeah, we'll see if they pull up the replay there. Simmons Fisher gets his stick tangled up somewhere in the breadbasket of Danny Zilikin, who picked up 2 goals last night and has an effective night so far tonight for the Jets. Just coming up this left wing. And a little bit of a nudge there from Simmons Fisher. Not much in the way of a trip. His stick wasn't really around that area, but nonetheless he gets called for impeding the way through of Zilikin. And a big kill right here coming up. The Sens have been effective on the kill tonight and throughout the entirety of the tournament, though despite conceding earlier on, an effective tournament overall for the PK. Going to have to come through one more time right here.
Ottawa 3 for 4 tonight. They were 5 for 5 yesterday, so 8 for 9 on the tournament. And that's not too bad for these youngsters. He leaves it for Zhilkin at center. Boucher was wrapped up. And now he will wind it up again. Over the line, coast to the right side of the Ottawa zone, plays it down into the corner. Knocked around the net for Zhilkin in the left corner. And he's bothered by Pettersson, and Donovan tries to center it. Jorian Donovan finds it. Tangled up and goes to the ice with Yoder. Andonovski pulls the puck out of that mini scrum, gets to space, launches it ahead for Pettersson. It's off his glove, and then swept back away again. Yoder comes in, barely onside, walks to the high slot. Yoder tried to dish it off, play broken up, puck cleared, and a good defensive job by Wallenius in front of the Ottawa net.
Yeah, good work there by Wallenius. A little bit of a late change. The puck did not find its way down the length of the ice for the Sens, but Wallenius doing a good job catching up to it off the bench to make that play and alleviate pressure.
Makes a nice hit in the corner to slow down the power play, and 40 seconds left in the infraction to Braden Simmons-Fisher as they continue to battle on the wall. Almost everybody is in that scrum below the Ottawa goal line. Puck squirts out, fired back to the circle. Here's a shot, Beckman the save, rebound, and it's blocked by Wallenius, and the Senators get it cleared.
Good net front awareness once again there from the Senators. Second chance just thwarted away right away, and they do a good job at meeting it despite Beckman making the save and scrambling over to be able to negate that chance.
Final 10 seconds of the power play. 2 minutes left in the game. Here come the Senators. And a pass by Savoy didn't get through. He and Zabeski battling down low. Savoy turns at the side of the net, almost stuffed it in. And we're back to 5-on-5. Under 2 minutes to play. Ottawa start out from behind the net. Hounded and losing the puck was Donovan. Jets fire it back deep again. Eliasson trying to come up with it in the far corner of his own zone, and does. Zabeski gets it across. Hookie tries to return it, and it's in deep behind the Winnipeg net. Reese gets in after it and finds it. To the far corner he goes with a man all over him. Centers it. It'll bounce off the boards. A shot from Simmons-Fisher, and that'll get blocked. Didn't make it to the net. Reese gets it again behind the goal. He's wrapped up trying to come in front, and will lose the handle as we hit the final minute of play. Shots on goal, 35-19 Senators, and we're tied at 2. All the scoring done before this third period. And an icing call against the Senators with 47.7 seconds remaining.
Once again, though, a strong shift from Zabeski just prior to that icing. He's a tired body out there right now, as is Reese. A couple of Sens forced to stay out there for this prolonged shift due to the icing, but overall doing a good job in the offensive zone, creating those turnovers and those chances. Reese trying to find some space around the goal to create that chance. Unable to get loose on that occasion, but again, doing a good job as the game's gone along, and a big defensive zone draw here for the Sens.
Here's a shot, hit a body on the way. Beckman keeps the play alive. Sens will get it out, 38 seconds on the clock as it's shoveled out to center ice. Banked off the boards, picked up by Zhilkin, left Ottawa circle. Sends it into the middle, intercepted, and played ahead. Half a minute to go for Ottawa to try to win this game. Xavier Bourgault up ahead into the Winnipeg zone, and then lost the handle, and Kevin He turns it around, but he's 1-on-4, and back to pull that puck from him rather easily was Halliday. Dozen seconds left. Halliday in to the slot, bodied off it, stays with it in behind the net here. Halliday knocked down for 3 seconds left, as nice hit by Bourgault on Hamilton at the horn. And that is it for regulation time. And we will see will be 5 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime. And the goals in regulation, Oskar Pettersson opened it up for Ottawa in the first. 1-0 Sens after one. Vladimir and Julian made it 2-1 Jets, and then Jorian Donovan tied it late in the second. No scoring in the third, and we are just about underway in overtime.
Yeah, you see some of the replays going up on the board right now from the entirety of the evening. A couple nice saves from both Nikitin and Beckman. Doing a good job in this one. The youngsters overall a strong night on multiple fronts from a development standpoint for the Sens here tonight. Looking to finish off the weekend on a strong note here in OT.
So Daou, Boucher, and Donovan out for Ottawa. And Chibrikov, Salomonson, and Braden Yeager out for the Jets. Salomonson drops it back. Yeager up the middle to the right circle. Fanned on a shot attempt, comes around the Ottawa net, watched by Daou, hands it off. Chibrikov in, sprawling poke check by Jorian Donovan. And Dono will find that puck and get in behind the Ottawa net. Winnipeg starting to change, and now Daou skates it up for Ottawa.
Yeah, good play there by Donovan, turning the tide on that possession, able to win the puck back for the Sens and get back on the puck.
Pettersson off the Ottawa bench. He will loop back out. Worked across by Halliday. Heads to the net and tips it on off the hard pass from Bourgault, and can't get that to get past Worthington. Back out the other way. Come the Jets. Zhilkin left side. Zhilkin winding around the net and wrapping. Rebound. They score. It's followed up by Fabian Wagner, and he will put that past Lucas Beckman to end the game. 1 minute and 17 seconds into overtime.
Yeah, nice play by the Jets coming up that left wing to create a chance. Gets the shot off on the near side. Beckman just a little bit late coming to it on the far side. Gets a piece of it, but it beats him high blocker to end the game off. A very entertaining night of hockey overall.